Okay, I've got it at top of the hour, so let's begin. Welcome everyone again to the ACT Training Webinar Series for September 2023. Today's topic is going to be ACT Custom Tables. We want to show you how you can unlock the full potential of ACT using custom tables. And so we're going to begin right now. As a way of preparation, let me go over a couple of things first. This is a monthly webinar that we do on the final Wednesday of each month. I believe this is the 13th or 14th one we've done. So we've been doing this for quite a while now. It's being recorded, as always. So if you have a cohort or somebody who hasn't seen this or wants to see it, or you want to watch it again later, no worries. We're going to record it and send a link to you at the email address you used when you registered. You can also go to the ACT website, and I'll show you where that is in a little bit, to find all of our previously recorded webinars. You can look at all the ones from the past as well. This is an interactive webinar, so if you have questions along the way, use the Q&A feature inside Zoom. Should be on your toolbar there somewhere. Just click Q&A. It'll open up that question and answer panel, and feel free to ask questions there. I would ask that you just keep it on topic, though. We're talking about custom tables today, so any questions about other things will probably just get dismissed or shoved aside for the moment. You can follow along with me if you want, but like I said, don't worry, this is being recorded. And then at the end, we're going to send you a survey if you'd like to give us feedback on what you thought about this specific webinar, or if you have any ideas of other webinars that you'd like to see, you'd like to learn more about ACT, please share that information with us. We're very receptive to it. Today, we're going to give you an overview of custom tables, what it's all about, why it can be such a valuable feature for you. Maybe you didn't even know it's there. I'll give you a live demonstration, some different features it can do, different perspectives on how it might help you in different areas of your business. And then we'll talk about how you can even get a free trial of custom tables for 14 days. So let's begin. My name is Brent Milner. I've been working with ACT for over 17 years now, and this is my job. I teach people how to use the product, whether you're an employee of ACT, whether you're a partner or a customer. Whatever it is, I'll teach you how to do it. I create videos, I create simulations, learning tracks so that people can go through and learn more about ACT. Today, I'm going to be joined by Daniel Dean. He is our sales extraordinaire manager here, super knowledgeable, super great at everything he does here. So he's going to begin, and he's going to talk about value of custom tables. So Daniel, how about I hand it over to you right now?
All right. Thanks, Brent. And good morning, everyone. Really, really excited to be here. Custom Tables has been my baby for the last 3 or 4 months, and really excited to share the value. I think it's really, really powerful. And we'll start with just, we get asked this question all the time, what is Custom Tables? And I'll say this, every organization is unique, right? You're managing your data in all sorts of different ways, in all sorts of different systems. A lot of things we track are in spreadsheets, and custom tables allow you to bring those spreadsheets, bring those other data sources into ACT and manage them side by side with your customer data, your contacts, your companies, your opportunities, your groups. And so I like to say quite simply, what are custom tables? Well, they allow you to incorporate customizable spreadsheet-like tables with spreadsheet-like functionality to maintain all your detailed product, service, data, things like that, together with your customer data directly in ACT. And the why for custom tables is, we really feel this unlocks the full potential of ACT, right? You are empowered with comprehensive insights, right? Being able to see all this data in a single system. And with that, and from those insights, you're able to develop really targeted sales and marketing strategies. You're able to deliver really tailored, personalized customer experiences, whether that's, reactive or proactive. And when you combine all those things together, we really feel it allows you to take your business to the next level. So that is high level what are custom tables. Take those spreadsheets, take those disparate data sources, bring them into ACT, and manage them alongside all the other data that you manage in ACT. Next slide, Brent. Yeah, perfect. And then what are they for? The bottom line for what they're for is, if you have data that you're trying to shoehorn into Act, maybe using some custom fields, some user fields, whatever, if you have really detailed data that you're saying, hey, this doesn't fit super clean, but I've got a workaround or nearly got a workaround, then if that's you, custom tables are something you really want to consider. Now, what they're perfect for is, really complex products, services, things like that with a lot of detail. So think about an insurance product, think about a mortgage product, and we'll talk about that today. All the different details and variables associated with a mortgage or any type of financial service product. They're really great for things if you track things with beginning and end dates. So think like a contract, a warranty, some type of service plan. If you're tracking products with serial numbers, if you're tracking, if you're selling software and you need to associate software keys with certain, software products. If you're tracking service engagements, you actually go out to people in the field and want to track those engagements. Came on this date, here was the issue, recommended, this fix, customer took me up on it, what have you. Anything in those home services realm, HVAC, landscaping, but even consulting, if you want to track that. And then customer support, if you want to track customer support engagements, or maybe you have support plans and people call in and you want to track the customer support engagement against those support plans. All really fantastic uses for custom tables. But again, the bottom line, if you have really detailed data that you'd like to track it in your CRM, and maybe you're shoehorning a little bit, then custom tables should be something that you think about evaluating. And then, the benefits, again, when you have all that data, right, you take your data from spreadsheets or data from a verticalized software solution, combined with all the unique ways that you do business, and you're able to view that, analyze that in a single system, and with spreadsheet-like functionality, how to use it. We really think doing all that together, it unlocks the full potential of Act. And then when you do that, when you have that data in a single system, right, you're able to look at things. We'll look at a few examples today, but maybe you want to go after, variable rate mortgages with interest rates greater than 7%, and you want to filter that list and say, okay, here we've got a nice a bit of opportunity here to go after that segment. You can drill down in that data and then use that to create really targeted sales and marketing strategies. And then also, you've got that data at your fingertips, whether you're making an outbound call or whether someone's calling in. You've got all the information associated with those products and services at your fingertips. And that really allows you to deliver, tailored, personalized customer experiences. And then, just as the name implies, they are customizable, very, very customizable, and they can customize to the unique needs of your business. And the cool thing is you don't have to be a developer. You don't have to be an engineer to do it. And then just from the standpoint of getting started, we'll walk through this, but you can create a new table if you just want to start fresh. If you've got those existing sheets or you've got existing data that you can export into a CSV, we can import that. And then we've also got 11 pre-built templates. And so you can use those, load them right up, modify them, and make them your own. So really, really cool. Unlock the full potential of Act, take business to the next level, and customize to the unique needs of your business. Back to you, Brent.
Thanks, Daniel. So that's a great introduction. That's a great overview of custom tables. Now it's up to really your creativity on how you can put this into action for yourself. And so we're going to give you a few ideas on some ways that custom tables has been used. I'm even seeing some questions in the chat here of, can it do this? Can it do that? So I'll hopefully touch on a few of those as well. But let's begin, just talk about some of the basics of custom tables. Daniel mentioned a few times, you're taking this existing spreadsheet-like data and you're bringing it into Act. This is great because you already have spreadsheets all over the place, if you're like me. So let's bring them all into one place. The data will all be in one spot, so you don't have to bounce around to all these different areas. And custom tables has the spreadsheet functionality too, which we'll look at. Let me jump into this and let's have a look at one of my one of my contacts. Actually, no, let me go into this spreadsheet first just to show you what one of the custom tables might look like. So I've learned a lot about mortgages over the last few weeks in preparing for this. You know, before this, I only knew a mortgage is something you need when you're buying a home, but I didn't know any of the kind of like the intricacies behind the scenes. And so I'm learning some of that stuff. Here is what a sample mortgages table might look like. And I think some of the figures are a little bit ballooned, but you really get the idea. It shows up as a spreadsheet. First of all, every table that you add in custom tables, you have the option to add it to your left navigation in ACT so that you can just switch between each of these tables. I have 5 different tables here, and I can just bounce between them to see the data, to see those tables lined up for me here. You have spreadsheet functionality at the top. You can sort by any of these columns. You can create filters. You can even do what I like to do, best fit all the columns so that it looks nice in your layout. But now each of these rows represents one record, one mortgage record in my mortgage table. And not only that, but it connects to your other tables in ACT. So I'm bringing over my contact table from ACT to show which of my contacts has which mortgage record on hand here. Not only that, I can go directly to my contacts area and ACT, and you can see how you can tie these new custom tables into the detailed view of a contact record. So in this instance, if I was talking to Colleen, if she called me or I called her and she had a question about one of her mortgages, what I've done here is I've made it so that each of my custom tables now shows up as its own specific tab on the contact detail view. So when I go to the mortgages tab for Colleen, it's only going to show me the records that apply to her. So she may have a first, second, third mortgage, whatever that might be. Again, don't pay as much attention to the actual values of these fields because they're a little bit crazy. But I could talk to Colleen and say, all right, well, you have this mortgage at this rate for this amount. You have another mortgage that's maybe over 20%. Well, hey, why don't we talk about refinancing? Because now might be a good time to do that and bring that rate down a little bit. And so immediately I have this data right here inside ACT, and I don't have to bounce all around to different spreadsheets to find this stuff. So this is a great way to use custom tables on an individual level to look up something for a customer that you might have on the phone already. But you can also do the same thing on a business level. Going back to my mortgages table, where I'm showing all of my mortgage records, I can sort these columns. Let's look at lending rates and maybe sort from high to low, or better yet, let's click this little filter button in the column header itself. And let's say maybe I only want to show lending rates that are above, 7%. This is great because I can quickly find that data and then reach out to each of these individual customers to say, hey, you know what, your lending rate is really, really high. How about refinancing with us? I can create a group based on this, and I can then follow that up with some kind of activity to reach out to them. And when I'll talk about this a little bit more, I'm going to do a little bit more with this in just a minute. But let's go back to this slide here and let's talk about delivering great customer experiences. I've touched on it a little bit. There's kind of 2 sides to this coin. When you're talking with customers, you can operate reactively or you can operate proactively, and custom tables let you be very good at working in both of these atmospheres. Be prepared with your customers before talking to them or while you're talking to them. And even proactively, while you're on the phone with a customer, you could look at other tables and say, hey, I noticed this is something that I picked up on while I'm talking with you. What do you think about an action item that I'm proposing here for you? Let me show you this one. So let's say that I am on the phone. One of my customers has called me. Let's look this customer up. His name is Rick. So I'm going to look him up real quick. Rick has called me because he has an open help desk item. He's got an open ticket, for example. So he's called me up, and I'm going to click on this service tab to see what tickets he has here in our custom tables area. So we've created a support table, and in that support table we have different tickets that customers can call in, and then we can create tickets for them. Now I put a ton of records in here. This may not be realistic. There may not be this many customer tickets, but I just wanted to show a lot to show how this works. What if I only want to look at the closed or the tickets that are in progress, the open tickets? Well, from the tab of a detail view, you can also use the custom table functionality. So in this case, I'm going to filter on this status tab, and I only want to show the tickets that are in progress. So right here, while I'm talking to Rick, I can sort to find the information that I want, look at these tickets, find out what's going on, and resolve that with him while he's on the phone with me. So there you go. My reactive customer interaction is working perfectly because all this details right here for me in ACT. I don't have to jump over to a different spreadsheet that has my support tickets in it or a different program. I can do that here in ACT myself. Proactively, while I'm talking with Rick, maybe I will pop over to the mortgages tab and see what he's got going on there and say, hey, I noticed you've got a lending rate here on your second mortgage. It's 60%. That's crazy. This data is too crazy. But I could talk to him and say, hey, I noticed you've got this giant loan at this really high rate. We've got a good deal going right now on a fixed rate. If you act within the next week or two, we can get you into that program. And maybe that's something that Rick will jump on. So he called about a support issue, but I was able to just quickly look at his loans and offer him a sweet deal that he could jump on. So this is not possible unless you have all this data in one place, or it's not easy to do unless you have all the data in one place. And custom tables allows you to do that. Next up, you can use custom tables if you want to create a sales campaign. So again, we're going to gather some aggregate data across our entire customer base, and then we can figure out, okay, among all of these records that we have, what's our threshold? What's our trigger that says now the people above this amount or beyond this threshold are prime candidates for this new sales campaign or this new promotion that we're running? And so that's what custom tables can help you do as well. So back in custom tables, maybe I want to find people who are paying too much. Again, using this mortgage example. And I'll use different examples too as we look around in here. I don't want you to think it's just for mortgages. It's for everything, really. But I can go into groups inside ACT and now create groups that are based on my custom table data. So maybe I have a group for everybody who's got a variable rate over or greater than 7%. You can see that if I go to my add remove contacts area, I can create rules that say, all right, I'm looking for any mortgages that have a variable rate, and I want that lending rate to be greater than 7. And just like it does with all of the contacts, it creates a group for me of specific people who meet this specific criteria, and I can reach out to them. I can create a sales campaign to find these people and now interact with them and offer them something better. Also in the mortgages table, I might want to look up maybe people who are in California that have a loan amount over $1 million or some crazy term or some crazy amount like that. Well, what I can do here is let me clear my filter first of all, and I can add other columns to this layout. So right now I'm just showing pretty much all the mortgage table fields, but maybe I want to customize these columns and switch over to my contact table, and let's add the state field here because I want to see just the people who are in California that have these kind of loan amounts. So this will add state data for all of my customers. You can see I have some that are even in the UK. But what I'll do here then is apply this filter to show only California. And then I can look at the loan amounts here and see which ones might apply. Any loans that are over $1 million, these are the 4 or 5 customers that I want to talk to and reach out to them right away. So again, a great way for you to use what you already have in ACT, your contact data, and what you can add to it is different kinds of tables and find the customers that you want to create a sales campaign for them. Daniel mentioned the example of people who are on a subscription service of some sort. You could use custom tables to find the customers who have a subscription that is expiring soon, and maybe then offer them a discount for resubscribing. You could use this to find your customers who maybe are using an older version of a product that you support, and now you can suggest to them an upgrade to the latest version. I would use this if you were on a version of ACT that's older than, say, 24. I would look you up and say, why don't you upgrade to 25.1, which is coming out today? That's a pretty good idea. And I could look you up and offer that to you. We had a question in the chat that said, how about event registration and attendance tracking? Absolutely. You can create a table for events and then put the dates in there and find out who attended those events and run a report on that here using the reporting feature in custom tables. So we do have, we have a report designer that you can create your own reports. You can add fields to that and run reports to find the exact data that you want to see. So good question from the chat. How about creating a marketing campaign inside ACT Marketing Automation? Yes, you can do this as well. You can use custom tables. And I'll go back to this example that I created earlier with that group that shows variable rates greater than 7%. So if I go into ACT Marketing Automation, I don't have it running on this machine. But if I go into ACT Marketing Automation, I can create a campaign that looks up that specific group and says, all right, I'm going to send an email blast out to anybody who's on a variable rate over 7%, because we have this great new offering that we want to put out there. Now's the time to refinance if you meet that specific criteria. So yes, you could tie this into ACT Marketing Automation as well to increase your business and to give your customers better options. Also, I should say, if you haven't done so, check out our previous training for ACT Marketing Automation. We've done, wow, 3 or 4 different webinars on that. Really a lot of information in there in those previous webinars that we've done. So check that out too. Next up, how to get started. Okay, so I've shown you just the very tip of the iceberg, as it were, for what custom tables can do. But how do you get started? I realize that custom tables can be pretty intimidating if you're coming at it without any knowledge of it. So I want to show you how you can just get started really easily. Let's say that I'm going to create a new custom table for some kind of subscription service that I offer. And I want to track the different levels of subscription that each of my customers will have. All right, well, what I'll do is I'll go into my custom tables menu, and I'm going to choose Manage Custom Tables. And what I'm going to do now is create a new table. So all of your options are on the left here. And usually it makes the most sense to just start at the top and work your way down. So I'm going to begin by creating a custom table. Now I'll give this table a name. We'll call it subscription. And I can change the display name if I want. That's just how it will be displayed on tabs or in the left navigation. Usually you want to keep these two the same, but if you have a really long table name, it might not make sense to have a really long display name for it. You can create a logo like we've done here. These little tiny logos, you can add those to the left of your left navigation link as well. I don't have one for subscription, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I do want to show this in the nav bar. That just means that link is going to appear in the left. I want to show it as a tab on my contact records, because this is what's going to tie my new table to my contacts. And I want to see what every contact's subscription level is. If I wanted to do that on the company level as well, I can. So you can associate these tables together if you want. Now I can say I'm going to link my subscriptions to contacts and companies. And you can create parent tables to child tables. So one example of that might be if you have a support table, you could have a child of that support table that is just tickets. So keep that in mind. I think with your creativity, you can come up with some really good parent to child tables or relationships inside custom tables. And that's it. All the information has been gathered. That's all custom tables needs to just begin creating this table. So what it does now, you might see in the upper left corner, it's locked my database because it's making some changes to the schema, to the structure of the database. It's adding a new table in here called subscription. And so it's kind of making room for that and building that table. This takes just a moment or two. And once it's finished, we'll be able to go on to the next step of our table here. What we should do after this is create fields. So a table really is no good unless you're going to have information in that table. And the way to store your information is to create the fields. Or if you're thinking of a spreadsheet, you'd be creating kind of the columns that appear in your spreadsheet. And then the rows will be the actual records themselves. So here we go. Apologize for the delay on that. My virtual machine is dragging just a little bit today, but it is chugging along and now it's finished. Okay. So we have this new table. It's called subscription. By default, it's going to add 6 new fields for me automatically. So these are kind of read-only fields for the most part. Create date, edit date, last edited by, and then we have a private, whether I want to make my records private or not, and then who created the record, and then who's the current record manager. So those are going to be added by default. But now I might want to add some additional fields, and I'm just going to add 2 or 3 fields. I don't want to overdo this for you. But down in the field management area, I'm going to click create field. And now I can create any field that I want. If you've ever created fields in ACT, it's kind of the same thing here. So I'm going to create a field called level. This will be subscription level. What is the field type? It's going to be character field, but you can see we have a lot of different field types: currency, date fields, picture fields, yes, no, and so on. I'm going to leave this as a character type. I will allow blank values, so it's not a required field. If I want, I can generate history whenever this field changes, and I can use a drop-down list. So maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to create a drop-down list for my levels. One thing I can do, if I've created a drop-down list ahead of time, it'll show up here in this list. If not, I can create a new one here. If I click manage drop-down lists, this will just let me now create a new drop-down, which I'll just call subscription, call it level, sorry. I keep that, I want to keep that consistent. I'm not going to let anybody add any new subscription levels. I just want 3 levels. I want standard, I want gold, and I want platinum. All right, so 3 quick levels, and I can come back and change this later and add descriptions if I want. But for now, I'm just going to create that level drop-down list. So once I've done that, I can go back into here, and I may need to refresh this. Nope, it showed up already. It's smart. So I've got a new level drop-down that I'm going to add to this as a field to my table. I'm going to leave these alone. Sequential fields is great. That is if you have, maybe let's say tickets. When customers submit a support ticket, you can automatically number these tickets in a sequential way. So when the first customer submits a ticket, it's 1. The second one will be 2. So it automatically numbers those for you so that you don't have to do that. My drop-down options, I'm just going to limit it to my list. I don't want multi-select. Everything else is fine. And I'll click next. Okay, so now it's creating that new level drop-down field for me so that I can assign, oops, sometimes that happens to me on this beta, but so that I can assign a support level to each of those records. So here I've got my new level drop-down. Let's just create one more field here. I'm going to create a expiration date field. So expiration date, we'll call it sub, let's call it expiration. No, we'll call it sub expiration. I may have another expiration date in my database somewhere, so I want to make sure I'm differentiating between the two. I'm going to allow blank values again. I'm not going to do a drop down. This time I'm just going to do a date field, okay? So that it's pretty simple. Hope I don't get that error again. Again, I'm using a beta version of this, so there might be a couple errors that pop up from here and there. Okay, so now I have 2 fields. I've got a level field and I've got a sub expiration field. That's great. Now, again, creating fields is half of the coin. If you remember from customizing ACT fields, you can create as many fields as you want, but they'll never show up until you add them to your layout. So the next thing that we need to do here is design our layout for this table. We want to know where these fields should appear when I'm creating a new record so that as we're adding new records to this table, we have our fields available for us. So I've clicked design layout, and now I'm going to click create layout because I don't yet have a layout for this table. So I'm going to click create layout, and now we're going to have a layout design. Now this looks and behaves a little bit differently from the layout designer inside Act for your contact table, your opportunities table. It works a little bit differently. We're still going to drag and drop fields from our properties area over to our design window, but you'll see how they behave just a little bit differently here. So what I'm going to do is on the right, I'm going to look for my level field and my sub expiration field. And those are the two fields I want to add to this layout. So I'm going to click and drag it. And as I drag it on the layout, you'll see that these blue boxes appear to kind of show me where this field will appear once I drop it. So you just have to play around with this to get kind of used to it. It took me a little bit to kind of get comfortable here, but if I drop it here, it's going to put that level field next to the company field. Maybe I don't want it there. Maybe I wanted it to appear at the bottom. You can still click and drag it and move it while you're here. You don't have to start all over again. So I'm going to put it at the very bottom so that I have my level field beneath the company's field. And now maybe I want my expiration field to be to the right of that. So I'm going to click and drag expiration, and we'll put it right here so that it adds it to the right. You can stretch these things out. You can also add separators if you want. Put a separator in here to just give that a little bit more room, or to put a line in there. So there's a lot of things you can do. Empty space item is also good. If you need to just add some padding, you can do that. So however you want it to appear, I would suggest just kind of playing around with that to get used to how this thing works. Don't forget to give your layout a name. I know there's a name field at the top, and we get so distracted by all the tools down below. You need to give it a name. So I'm just going to call it subscription, and then I'll click save. So now I have a new layout. I'm going to click close, and that's really it. I can edit my default columns, but I'm going to do that. No, let's do it right now. These are the columns that will appear when you're looking at the list view for your table. Now, by default, it's just going to add the default fields that it created at the start. So this won't help you. You need to edit your columns. You need to customize this so that when you're looking at your table, you see the fields that you want to see. If I cancel out of this and close this without customizing my columns, what'll happen is, first of all, ACT is going to create my new table here on the left, and it's going to add it to the layout. But you'll see as I create new records, these columns don't really show what I want them to show. So I'm going to click add here. And just for fun, we're going to add a subscription level for Rick Blaine. Okay, so I'm going to give him a platinum level, and his expiration is going to be on this date in 2024. Oops, can't type today. 2024. Okay, now I'll click OK, and we'll see it adds this record. But wow, this data is not what I want. Why isn't it showing the data I expect to see? It's just showing who created the record, who edited it, who's the manager of it, the creation date, and the edit date. Well, that doesn't tell me anything I want to know, because I need to customize these columns to show the data that I want to see. So you can do that in two places. If you're in the Manage Custom Tables area, you can do it down in the additional customization. If you edit custom or edit default columns, you can do it there. But the easiest way to do it is just to click. Oops, I didn't mean to click away from there. The easiest way to do it is from your custom tables area itself. There's a customize columns button on the right. So if I click that, it opens up the same window. Now, what I want to show here is I want to see the contact's name. I want to see their subscription level, and I want to see their subscription expiration. Maybe I don't really care about the rest of these fields. In fact, maybe I don't care if it's a private record or not, or maybe I don't care when it was created or last edited, or who the record creator was. Maybe I don't care about all those things. Maybe I do want to see when it was edited and who the current record manager is. Those are good to have. But I do want to see the level. So I'm going to click that and move it to the right. Maybe I'll even move it up to the top. I want to see the expiration. I'll do that too. I'll move it just beneath level. But I also want to see the contact. So who's the contact associated with the subscription level? And that's where this record type dropdown comes into play. So I'm going to switch from custom tables to the contact table. And now from here, I can find the contact field and add that to my current view. And of course, I'll move it to the top because I want that to appear first. So I've got those fields ready to go. I'm going to click apply. And now if I rearrange these columns, we can see Rick Blaine is on a platinum level that expires next year on this date. I'm the record manager, and that's when it was last edited. Great. Now my custom tables is ready to go for this subscription, for my subscription records. I can go through here and add them one by one, or I can use the custom tables data import to import from a spreadsheet. So that's great. If you already have all that data in a spreadsheet somewhere, all is not lost. You can use that spreadsheet and import it into your table. Now, I would just recommend setting your table up first with the fields that you need. Go into your spreadsheet, make sure those fields appear there so that you're only importing what you want and you're not losing anything during that import. So there you go. That's one way to get started with a custom table, building it from scratch. But maybe it's easier if you wanted to use one of the tables from our template library. Yes, we have a template library of custom tables that have been pre-built. If you're skittish about starting from scratch, this might be a way to do it. So from the custom tables menu at the top, I'm going to choose the industry template library. And you'll see there's lots of different tables that are available for you. We have them organized by function. So in the function area, we're seeing consulting, event planning, product inventory. These are all different kinds of tables you can bring in, or by industry. So we see insurance, mortgage, realty, and things like that. I'm going to just bring in product inventory. Now, before you add this table and create it, you always have the option of previewing it. And that's what these little magnifying glasses are for. So for product inventory, I'm just going to preview this to see what it'll look like. Now, this isn't an interactive table. This is just an image of what this table looks like. I can't click on anything here, but I can get a good idea of what this table might look like. I've got fields for serial number, product description, make, model, year, version. So whatever it might be. Now, maybe I don't need a field for make and model. Maybe this is like an automobile or something like that. I can remove these fields after I import this template. So you're not stuck with the fields here. You can still do all the customizing of it, removing fields, adding fields, moving fields on your layout. There's even a second tab here that you can create or utilize if you have more detail that won't appear, that one screen just isn't enough. So yeah, you can have multiple tabs on your layout. So let's do this. Let's add this product inventory table to my my database. Product inventory, I'm going to click apply, and it's asking me this is what's going to be imported. So I'm going to click next, and it's asking if I want to import all these things, user scripts, act layouts, and custom table layouts. I'll leave all those checked, click next, and one more time. And now Act is locking the database because we're changing the schema of our database. So it's adding a new table, and it's going to add, what is it? This product inventory table, including all of those fields that you saw there. This may take a little bit of time because it's not just a small table with 2 fields like the one I created. But here we go. It's begun to do that, and it's beginning to add all those fields in there. Now, it's not adding records. We're not dealing with that. It's just adding the fields themselves. So here we go. It's chugging along. This looks like there's 15 fields it's adding. We're halfway through. And once this is finished, I'll show you how you can just quickly interact with it and make some customizations there. Okay. While that's going, I'm going to jump ahead. Oh, it's finished. Never mind. I won't jump ahead. I'll just click finish. And when I do that, what we should see happen is on the left, we should see that a new table has been created called product inventory. So let me click on that. And of course, there's no records here because I haven't added any records yet. But if I click add, you'll see that that layout that we previewed is here. So wonderful. Now I said I can customize this. Maybe I don't want the make and the model fields. Okay, well, I can remove those easily by going to my custom tables menu, choosing manage custom tables. From the drop-down list, choose the correct table, product inventory. And then from here, maybe I don't want to delete those fields, or maybe I do want to delete those fields, however you want it to be. But for now, I'm just going to remove those fields from my layout. So I'm going to go to design layouts again. The layout's already been created. So this time I'm just going to edit that layout, and then it brings it on the screen for me. So maybe with my make field, I'll just click it and drag it over back to my properties window. Same thing with model. Click it and drag it over. Those two fields are now gone. I can click. Oh, I didn't move model all the way over. Get over here, model. There you go. There we go. Now I'll click save and close. Oops, close and then close. And now if I go into my product inventory area once again and create a new record, we'll see that I've quickly been able to just modify that layout. So whatever way is best for you, whether you want to create it from scratch or use one of the templates and then modify it, we've tried to make this as easy as possible, as intuitive as possible, so that you don't feel intimidated about going into this and really putting it to use. I'm telling you, this is going to help your life a lot by keeping everything in one area inside ACT by using custom tables. Okay, let's talk about this trial. Now, if you're a current ACT customer, you're not locked out. You can still get in here and get a new 14-day trial for free of custom tables. The way to do that is just by going into this custom tables menu at the top and clicking start trial. If that is grayed out, that means one of two things. You're either on a trial version of ACT, in which case you already have custom tables as a trial, or you already have custom tables and it's already part of your subscription. So in that case, get in there and start using it. But for the rest of you, once you click that start trial, it's going to enable you to get in there and start experimenting with custom tables. And speaking of experimenting, maybe you want to play with some data that's not your own first before you really start putting your own data in there. Well, you can do that too. We have an option here in this custom tables menu for demo data. So if you just choose add demo data, what's going to happen is it's going to add a sample table for you. I believe it's the mortgages table with records in there that you can look at and play around with, create some reports, create some charts, export things, share things with others just to see how it works. And once you're finished, you can just click remove demo data. It will remove that data from your table. And not only that, any other records that you may have created while you're experimenting or on the trial version, those records will stay. So when your trial is over, those records will be preserved for you once you jump into a custom table subscription. So no need to worry about losing your data or having this demo data corrupt or mess up what you got going on. So you can remove that at any time. So to get started, go to act.com/custom tables to learn more about it. Here are the numbers that you can call in the US or the UK, or you can contact your partner, your ACT certified consultant, if you'd like to add custom tables to your account. We have some pricing available right now. It's available to all of the premium subscribers, $10 a month per user in the United States, £8 per user per month in the UK. And this is, of course, going to be billed annually. Give us a call and we'll help you get started with custom tables. So thank you for joining us today for this ACT subscription training webinar. I mentioned at the beginning, if you'd like to see any of the past webinars that we've done, there's the URL for you, act.com/explore. Just go there and you'll be able to see all the previous webinars that we've done. And not only that, but you can sign up for future webinars. And we'll send you a reminder email and the Zoom link and all those things so that you can jump in and watch it live and ask questions. Again, I'll remind you that you're going to have a survey coming to you. Please fill that out and let us know how we're doing. If you have any ideas for future topics, include that in the survey or just email us at team@act.com and just say, hey, I'd like to have a webinar to teach me about this in ACT. And we'll do our best to get that out to you because we'd like to show you exactly the topics that you're interested in seeing. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to stay on here for a little bit longer as we resolve any other open questions that are here. Both of the Dans, if you have any questions that we need to address vocally, just let me know and we can jump in there and do that. Otherwise, thank you everybody for joining us today. And we'll see you next month. Have a great week.